More fun than
I don't know.
there's some really
Bear full of
annoying
monkeys. Isn't it a barrel
yeah,
full of monkeys?
barrel full of monkeys. There's some really southern ones.
Oh yeah. Cat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So good morning,
Mo-
beautiful souls, and welcome back.
Most of those other ones are a little on the rude side. So,
Well, they're spicy, right? They're spicy, and you know what? The pathway to choose joy is spicy. It really is.
and
Oh, now you're showing up in the corner
yes,
on TikTok. That's really cool. Okay, we're trying something new here. Again, when life presents opportunities, like I love Wednesdays because you and I get to do this, and it's so spectacular, right? Those moments in life when something unexpected appears in front of us, and we ask one simple question: What am I going to do with this?
right, right. So
Fascinating, fascinating, because they don't always look, they don't always arrive the way that we think they're gonna.
no, certainly not. So here we go this way a little bit.
Right? Like sometimes it's an invitation, sometimes it's a conversation, sometimes a challenge, and sometimes a loss, and
Right.
sometimes an idea that simply won't leave you alone.
That's right.
Those
Well,
are
and
good.
opportunities. If our world exists in our mind, I mean, because truly, the world I live in only exists in my mind. It,
Yeah,
it
just my mind, your mind. Yeah,
you
our yeah, it's yeah, yep.
there's a collective component to it, and our interpretation is because of our sensory issue, our experiential, what we've come in with energy. It's an interesting uh, blending of the physicalness and the spiritualness. And so, since truly our world only exists the way we know it in our mind, what amazing power is it for us then to switch when something happens to look at, well, what's the opportunity around this? How I approach, how I align is so much a part of this. This morning, I got a call from my son, and I feel bad. I feel something. He has to put $5,000 into his transmission,
Ugh.
and they're trying to save for a house. They're trying to save for a wedding. And, it's just,
Oh,
and, he called the manufacturer, though online I see that there isn't standing issue with this truck. Um, and you have to put the VIN number in because the manufacturer can say, "Oh no, there's no no, there's not a blanket recall, but put your VIN number in."
yeah,
And
maybe.
I'm mom, and so I can only do what I can do. We'll remind him of this later. There's an opportunity for him here. There's an opportunity for how he looks at this. There's an opportunity, and I'm not, excuse the expression, blowing sunshine up his ass. You know,
No,
no. But the opportunity is, oh well, I'm going to have my truck's going to be now. Is it time to trade it? Is it time to, do all kinds of other things? So, um, and now, so we'll have to wait and see. So when life presents something, you can look at it as an issue, an opportunity. What's the opportunity here for me to take a look at, to discover,
huge,
to
huge, huge. When you were talking about it's only going on in your head, I have the final date now for when I'm completing the contract that I have at the company I've been doing bookkeeping for, and then it's changing into a support position. And that's really, really cool. So as I've been going through these changes, we had the talk on Monday, and then yesterday, I was doing something and I heard him say, and like I was with him, and then I was walking away and he's like, I knew she would blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, interesting. Interesting, right? Like, okay. And I love that he's talking audibly outside because it gives me a clue. Blues
mm-hmm.
clues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and again, what he's talking about is the world that exists in his mind, his reality, his scope, his sequence. And I go back to that expression you hear me say often, my own life is barely my business. Because of that, I have so much in my head that I could work to shift. Me worrying about how the other person is creating their world seems rather ridiculous.
Well,
Yeah.
it really does. And we often think that opportunities should feel exciting.
Yeah.
But many of them, like you were talking about with your son, are wrapped in uncertainty, fear, doubt, questions, and a whole lot of reasons we should probably stay where it's comfortable.
Yeah. Right.
Okay? What we
Probably
know
stay
about
where
our
it's.
lives, we've stayed there before. We've done that.
Well, and we are now in this proper time of Cancer where we are here to nurture our most hidden thoughts, our most hidden understandings. We're in that energy. We have this great alignment that is happening for the middle of July. Um, we have very shortly on the 30th, we have Jupiter, which will enter into Leo. So it is about expanding our understanding of truth, leaving Cancer about nurturing
Mhm.
our truths, nurturing that intuitive stuff. And then we move to Leo. Leo, which is, and the ruler of this Jupiter is Sagittarius. So it's a lot of fire of truth, a lot of self truths coming forward, and the opportunity to truly live and align to get ready for this big alignment in the middle of July.
When is that big alignment in July again?
Right in the middle of July, right
Okay,
across the middle of July.
cool.
And so it's really quite interesting to know that as this is unfolding, what is it I'm aligning to? What is it I'm nurturing? The nurturing is what's moving me forward to get ready for this
Hmm.
big alignment.
Yeah. Well, and we need to nurture so that, when the biggest opportunities come about, they they can start with a yes, right? Yes to recovery, yes to writing a book, yes to speaking on stage, yes to healing, yes to having difficult conversations.
The awareness of that is that, especially because your world exists in your mind,
Mhm.
and the awareness of that is such a awaken awareness awakens. Then what happens? There's an allowing that happens right after that. Allowing acceptance. And then once you accept the allowing, then you can align with action.
Yeah.
Actions then align. And it's kind of that progress. Awaken awareness, um, accepting what we have to, accepting, allowing this to happen, and then you align your actions. All
Hmm.
A's, guys, all 6 A's.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So that's a big thing. And then you switch them. Once I've awakened awareness, the awareness awakens me to accept and allow. Then the allowing the acceptance has me aligning with actions, and then the actions align. So
Yeah, and it's not like anything we've ever done before. That's so important to remember.
right.
Absolutely not like anything we've ever done before.
Yeah.
I'm going through the editing process now for the second book, and I have a different editor. I have a different system. I wrote it differently. The experience is different. It's every chapter I get back from her, I'm like, okay, cool, cool.
Yeah. Well, you've learned um, that's your acceptance allowed you to align with different actions.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it did. It truly did. And today's an interesting day. I'm looking at my astrological calendar, which I have not done yet. Um, it's a it's a moon in Scorpio, so it's all about transformation of the ebbs and tides that we are in, and it is a discernment around what am I nurturing, allowing a moving forward, because there's a trine with the sun in this Cancer, allowing this forward, and some discernment about what is it I want to transform. And it's not about accepting a new responsibility. It's not about, that's kind of working on its own, this new responsibility, new structure. We're not changing that. We're accepting that it's already started and learning to work with it today. It's very interesting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's that those little teeny tiny stones that begin an avalanche kind of feeling, right? Like you can feel something dropping down, sparkles in a snow globe, whichever way you feel it. It's different for all of us, right?
That's where looking at it as an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and none of this comes with a roadmap.
No, no.
And growth is often uncomfortable.
Right.
So how do we know the difference between something that's aligned and something that's simply distracting us?
I think that's where we pause and we evaluate our what's important to us. Are we allowing an acceptance here, or are we in that acceptance, is it feudalistic acceptance? Oh, I have, one of my favorite things, and I say it is, oh, I'm just like that. Really? That means it's a decision.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute, it's a decision.
That's a cop out. That's a cop out when you say, "Oh, that's just the way I am." I think it's a cop out.
Well,
Personally,
I'm more comfortable being this way. That doesn't mean I can't pause and try something different. And that also means, because it's a tricky thing, where is it a boundary and where is it kind of a cop out in our behavior? And if it aligns with what's important to me, my own peace, my own understanding. Again, somebody else's life is barely my business, because I don't have enough time for my own life, really.
well, it's so true. And every yes is a no to something else.
Right.
Big one, big one. Like when I say yes to something, it means I'm saying no to something else.
Right.
Yes, I am staying home. No, I am not going out.
Right. And then there's that acceptance and allowing. And I think the biggest thing is, whether it's a cop out or not, is that pause to at least evaluate it. Not punish, not, run all those scripts in our head, but to really kind of pause and say, if I'm afraid it's a cop out, then I'm going down another, then I'm not looking at this as an opportunity.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. There's no timekeeper or count keeper on the number of times that I've heard, "Oh my God, you're just so positive." And it's not in a positive way, right? Like, it's like, ew, you're so damn positive. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever know whether it's a cop out or not, unless you're really in tune with, no, and I'm going to trust myself. And that's where the pause comes in. Let me trust myself. Let me sit back and reflect upon this.
Yeah.
And
the internal conversation before the external conversation.
Right. Because my world is in my mind.
Exactly. And every opportunity requires time.
Right.
Energy, focus, right? Commitment before being committed. Like it's we can overwhelm ourselves, and I think that's why discernment matters. Not every opportunity is meant for us.
Right. God bless the crooked road where it leads me.
Yes. Yes.
And I think those people, this is just a think, those people that take the time to pause and to think about it already are circumventing that they're somehow sabotaging themselves.
Well, it's why we read Dr. Seuss to children.
Yeah.
To open up that, Winnie the Pooh, think. It's reinforcing the importance of that.
The book, The Secret Garden, that is so much about how we have our own secret garden that, nobody sees what I can see, for back of my eyes there is only me, and nobody knows what I can know, for only I hear my soul.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
and the
So,
poem is called "Just Me,"
oh,
and that's the only stanza I remember from it.
wow. I love that. I love when you remember those special parts. Like we were talking not last week, but the week before, right? About the Dead Poets Society, Captain, my Captain.
Oh yes, I told you about the man that showed it to his children, and their different generational reaction.
Yeah, it's
It was
really,
very interesting. And then after that, I'm reading that book by Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, Whole Brain Learning. I'm almost done with it. She has a whole chapter, second to the last chapter, dedicated to the difference, the way the brain has developed in generations. And this new generation, because of technology, has different wiring in their
yeah,
whole brain learning.
yeah, for sure.
It's a little more blurred. Um, and because of the societal pieces of generations,
Hmm.
and the, I guess it's enculturation, what the important things were in society, like the one that is your generation, Gen X. Um, your Gen X were the first latchkey kids. They were the first, so their character one in their brain, because she talks about the four characters we have, is overdeveloped at a very young age because we were, and I'm borderline, I'm Generation Jones. I'm not a boomer, but I'm not really an Xer, though I grew up with all Xers basically. Um, and we certainly, especially because of my mom's illness,
Yeah.
were much more, and that over need to take care of and the feralness affected how they showed up in society.
Oh, for sure. I was much more home based, much more, and I was so envious of all the other kids. All the other kids that got to go out and play, that got to, like, the teenagers that got to do all that fun stuff. I didn't have that. My life was much more contracted, and I think that's why. Oh, it's definitely why I became quite feral. Because I fought for that. I mean, I was the one listening to the music that was so, we gotta fight for a right, to
Yep.
party. That was me, right? And
Right.
I mean, Madonna was huge in my life. And it was
Yeah.
that
Well,
rebellion.
and that was a big piece of it. The 70s were material girl, and I live in a material world.
Yeah.
And, you know, Watergate affected greatly in the United States the loss of heroes and ways that should be. And
Yeah.
one of the expressions, it was a very interesting chapter. The chapter itself was phenomenal because it comes from a neuroscientist about
Mhm.
how this, and so with this disillusion and this responsibility, coming up with your own ways things should be, this character one was overdeveloped in responsibility, and character three, who is the character that doesn't understand time, is always about the right now. They were in constant conversation because it's a childhood kind of thing. So you're right. And the music reflected it, material, and I'm a material girl. And this painting of there's a love outside of ourselves, just like people were buying things outside themselves. So that wired a new set. And then as they had their millennials to Gen Z, you know, um, characters, um,
Oh my
they,
God, how
they
much it changed, right? Ooh, bop, bop, ba, loo, bop, boo, doo, bop. Like, that was not my music, and I love it.
and well, it also, though I love this one. um it's I think it's Gen Alpha that they accuse of, it's the very much the end of the boomers and the Gen Xers that became helicopter parents
Yeah,
because they knew what they had done.
no kidding.
you
Like,
know
you're not going out after 10. I know
yeah,
what happens after 10,
right.
right? So true.
And
So, so
so
true.
um but I love this little boy. He was probably 8, hair in his face, and he's leaning over his iPad. And And he says, I know my generation, the alphas, and they say somewhat the Gen Zs, supposedly we don't have the toughness to make it or to stick to stuff. And he goes, this from the generation that cried because black people drank out of their water fountain. Loved that perspective.
And
You
it's
know,
so true, right? It's so true. And when we're looking at the aligned opportunities,
yeah.
even when they're scary, oh, cool, we got some really cool people showing up here. So, Edward, I did um, hypnotherapy with Edward. So cool. Hey, buddy. Like,
Hi,
so
Edward
cool.
and Lacey.
And Lacey, too, right? Like, it's just so amazing. Here we've got Edmonton and somewhere in the Britishness.
And the States.
And the States. Yeah, we got it all happening here, right?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't know how to check my so they're showing up. I got somebody saying might want to join, might want to join. We have a couple, we have two, so I don't know who this is playing through, my page, your page,
I
you
don't
know.
know. We've got TikTok going on here too, ladies and gentlemen. So it's quite a wild ride. And you know, when the quiet voice underneath the fear says, pay attention, right? Like this matters. There's something here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fear and intuition can feel similar at first. Both create energy, both get our attention. The difference is that fear often wants us to retreat. Intuition invites us to explore. Learning that difference changed my life.
Right. Be curious.
Yeah.
One of the best responses to fear is curiosity.
So true. So
Take,
true. I was
take
I was
a pause and really evaluate. Is there
yeah.
this, is this really a life? Yeah.
Slow down. Like when you find yourself like just babbling on, like right? Feel the energy of the other person in the exchange. You know, when you're dragging them back into a conversation, you
What
know.
the best sentences I ever learned is when something fearful comes or anxiety or something comes, is to say to myself for the pause, somewhere in my body, I'm afraid. Not I am afraid, somewhere I am afraid. Allowing the rest of the parts of your body to step forward and go, yes, you are, you know.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
or I am angry. A part of me is angry. I am not the anger. I am not angry. Oh, part of me is really angry about that.
Well, and noticing if we're talking about the past more than we are the present and the future. That's a big indicator too.
Right. And
Big
so
one.
it is. It's such an when life presents opportunities, can I pause enough? And even afterwards, if I can't do it in the moment, wow, that really, I felt really angry this morning. Let me step back now, feel the feeling, because neurologically, you only need to feel the feeling for 90 seconds. For 90 seconds, you have to let your neural pathways feel what you don't even have to name the emotion, just where is this? Where is it in my body? And after 90 seconds, it will go somewhere. And then you can, so that's where the pause comes in. Now, honestly, if it's a life or death situation, you don't have maybe have 90 seconds, but you will react, whether it's fall
Yeah.
to the ground or, you know,
What
um,
which way and every day is a new day and every experience is a new experience. So in knowing that, you understand that there is the shift and the shimmy in all things. I've got some beautiful cards that I got, Power Thought cards. It's a Louise Hay deck. And this one says, my work is deeply fulfilling, beautiful, like just gorgeous.
mhm.
Today, I give my best to that which I do, knowing that when one experience is complete, I am led to even more fulfilling and rewarding experiences.
Very nice.
Isn't it?
Very nice
My work for today, right?
for
Just for
today.
today. We talk about that a lot.
Just for today.
Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise, life can be very, very overwhelming,
And for some
especially when
reason,
you start adding in. Hmm?
tiger eye today.
Oh, tiger eye. Cool.
So I'll have to look up the principles of tiger eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
To see what that is. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I know it's a scorpion stone, so it's about transformation. Just for today.
Just for today. Yeah.
Just for today, life, look at life presenting you opportunities. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And um, sometimes, well, not sometimes, often, if I can go back to something that reappears and sit with it for a moment, feel the feeling, the 90 seconds,
Yeah.
and then interact with it differently. What was the opportunity there? Where did that leave me? Make sure
Yes.
those pathways are stronger than the pathways that recoil, you know?
Oh, so true. So true. And realize that within those opportunities, it's like when my boys were younger and, he's not letting me come along, the younger brother to the older brother. Yeah, like, yeah, I don't want you there. No, you got to take your brother. Oh, I did that so many times, and
Well, the sentence that has always stood out with that kind of thing was with my grandchildren. Um, and they were in the back seat and they were arguing. I said, stop talking to each other, you know. And all of a sudden, I hear my granddaughter, who was quite young, um, "Oh, you got aloe vera juice. Very good for the digestion. Yummy.
yes, yes, very good for digestion. Yeah.
A shot in the morning and a shot at night. I actually put some bitters in it. Um, the it was the little voice that went, Oma, he's thinking about talking to me. And I said, okay, we cannot control how people think
Oh, I know.
because
He's breathing my air. He's
yeah,
breathing my air. And then they let off a fart and all the other fun things that kids do.
oh yeah, I didn't do anything. I just farted.
Yeah.
You picked
Oh,
your butt cheek up and pointed it at me.
hmm hmm
Yeah, right.
And then we realize how often we behave like children.
Mm-hmm. Same kind of thing. Though
Yes.
I do think my dad had some kind of rubber arm that he could somehow reach
Oh,
across a
way
seat.
back, right?
There were
His
6 of
jaw
us.
way big. Wow.
Well, you didn't want to get in the way either. It wasn't like he was looking. Look, he's after John. Get John.
Oh, I still remember, and it's still talked about in our family, the day that I went to up and smack one kid and hit the other.
Hmm.
Just laid them right out, I'm like, oh my gosh, right? And I was in a state of mind where I was quite crazed. Like, what did you say to me? You know?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, my dad did that once. Um, the, he used to call it my English was my dad's second language. He actually spoke quite a few language, and he would call it spooking up, like being up at night, like a spooky character.
Okay.
He
Okay.
did not know the other slang at all. That was not my dad. And he'd say, "You're spooking up." And so I guess my sister and my brother were making noise, and I truly had fallen asleep in the single bed. And he came running up the stairs.
Oh, we've been flagged on TikTok.
We
Violent and criminal behavior. Oh my god, because we're talking about what? Oh, funny.
Okay. Well, anyway, my father came up to discipline, and he disciplined me who was asleep. And my sister, God love my sister Judy, goes, Dad, she was really sleeping. And and he felt really bad, and I still remember it because I woke up going, what? She was really sleeping. She wasn't doing anything, Dad. Which that kind of changed the whole dynamic of that interaction because he went right for me. He thought I was pretending because they were pretending, but I wasn't. I was asleep.
You were totally asleep. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally asleep. Yeah.
Like, what? What? And I remember going, I was asleep. And he goes, you were pretending. And my sister goes, no, she wasn't, Dad. She wasn't pretending. See, you don't know. And my sister could say things to my father that I could not say.
Oh, the dynamics. The dynamics. It's so interesting.
See, you
So
didn't know, Dad. She was sleeping. And my brother Rick's like, she was sleeping. So like we tried to get her to talk, but she was asleep. So they didn't get in trouble. I was their beard, I guess.
yeah. Right? It
So,
was just me, so I didn't have anyone
so
to
where
play
do
it
you see
off
this
of.
flag?
It
This is
jumped up
yours.
on mine, so now it's gone because I went. Um, and again, when life presents opportunities, we don't have to respond to every single one.
Right.
Sometimes we can simply go,
Right. Well, that's interesting. The
yeah,
opportunity is to go, really? TikTok? Really?
yeah. Again, why I am pursuing a channel that is outside of all channels so that I am not censored by anyone.
Yes, I'm very interested in that channel.
Yes, yes. So yeah, please check out Gnostic TV.
Hmm.
Gnostic
Yeah,
TV. Gnostic with a G. God.
Gnostic with a G. So,
I think that's where the G comes from. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of because this is, and yet we have blatant lying going on this same channel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. Like we live in a wild world and it's wonderful. Keep your eye on the prize.
Be
Work
curious.
hard. Be curious. Work hard. Be diligent. Be
Hmm.
diligent in everything that you do. Back to the agreements.
Yep.
So important. So, so important.
That
At the end of the
and
day,
that's where the curiosity. Be skeptical. Be curious.
yes.
Evaluate what you're coming across, even as you're listening to this, thinking, what is for me in my world that exists and what just isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's so interesting. I went for some blood work last week. I did the non-traditional. I went to see a detox and toxicology specialist,
Uh-huh.
and not in the political government system, and did the live blood and the dry blood, dead blood, and showed some incredible things in my body. So now I'm going through a huge kidney detox, and working through some testing with the traditional system. And I'm noticing a difference already. And with that detox are all of the side effects of the detox, little bit of flu-like symptoms, not really, kind of sort of. I had a headache the first day. My digestion is completely changed. I have candida in my tummy.
Ah,
A lot. Like I got a whole brewery going on. He said to me, he goes, "Do you feel like you're like 12 days into a hangover? Like, and you keep on drinking?" I'm like, yes. Yes, and I'm not drinking. It's like, well, don't drink. Like no wine, no beer, no bread, no pasta, no potatoes, no rice. And I'm managing it really well.
don't feed it until it dies back.
Exactly. Exactly. And
That's
that's,
very true, for all of us. Don't feed things until you can get them to die back.
yeah, just
And I
don't feed
think
it.
I think that when people feel the need to isolate now, that is a part of it. You're not feeding that fear that until you're ready to deal with it, to
Yeah.
process it.
Yeah. Feeding the fear. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, and and there's a lot of messages out there, and until you're ready to be able to go, nope, not me, nope, not me,
Yeah,
move through. So,
absolutely. Well, it's been a blast, my friend, as
as
always.
always, we'll be back next Wednesday. And now we know how to go live on both of our TikToks.
Right? We just know that on TikTok we can't swing.
Who knows what we can or can't do? We'll just wait for the red flags to go, okay, thank
All
you.
right, there's a flag. Yep,
Red flag
exactly.
too. All right.
Exactly. All
Namaste,
right.
my friend.
Namaste. Have a good one.
You too.